morning is 7:04 on this Thursday, September 7th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on Thursday morning. It's time for us to introduce our friends from Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Paul Tubbs is here, General Manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ronnie Kelly is here in sales at Bates Ford. Good morning.
Good morning.
I never introduce you exactly the same way. At least I try to be different each time. Mixed for, if it's the same old way all the time, it gets old or whatever, I guess. But it's good to see you both.
Yes.
How are things, Paul?
Good. Everything's going well.
All right. And you, Ronnie?
Yeah, everything going real good. You know,
Selling a lot of cars?
sell a lot of cars, got a lot of inventory, great inventory. And it's one thing about our inventory, we get it changed daily. And we always trading for something that's different. And one thing about it, if you come down to Bates Ford and you don't see something on the lot that you like, talk with our friendly sales staff, and we may have something in the back, we may be getting something coming in. So,
and one of the things you've been saying here lately is if it's something you really like and you really want, you better buy it then because somebody else will have it before you come back.
yes, sir, and it is really happening every time we turn around. As a matter of fact, I had one like that a couple of weeks ago. You know, I was working on a new truck, and the guy was coming back the next day, and I told him, I said, man, you might want to put a deposit on this truck because you come back, it may not be available. And he came back, and the truck was gone. They sold the truck, but he picked another one.
Well, at least he found one
Right.
that would be okay. But that happens too often, I guess.
Yes, it happens a lot.
Not for you, but for the customer, maybe.
And so it's good. You know, it's kind of tough getting vehicles, and Tony buys a lot of vehicles, and Paul and Mike and Joey, they try to find vehicles. But when you get them and great mileage, they're hard to stay around because everybody's looking for them.
Well, what else on your mind this morning, Paul Tubbs?
We got a lot going on. I mean, you know, we trade for anything that don't eat was a true fact yesterday. Had a customer bring a bass boat in.
A bass boat.
A bass
Summer's
boat.
over.
And I guess the boating season's over, and he wanted to kick the curb. But anyway, he ended up trading that on a truck, so we gave him the money towards the boat. It's a '06 Skeeter. I'm not a big fisherman, don't know a lot about it, but
You got it for sale now.
we do. It was actually on Facebook, so it's something. Supposedly, it's a really nice boat. So, but if you've got something like that you want to turn into cash, that just proves our point. We've got a side by side. We've got some campers. We've got a boat. So if there's something that you got laying around that you want to turn into cash, you know, bring it to Bates Ford, and we'll certainly do that.
Well, it's really given you an identity. I don't know. I'm not saying others wouldn't do that. They probably would, but that's not. They don't call themselves and don't advertise that they'll trade for anything don't eat like you do. That's really been big for you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what separates us from the normal car dealership. Most people trade cars in on cars and stuff. Tony, you know, he kind of brought that up in '08 whenever the economy was kind of rough, and, you know, he kind of thought outside the box, and he loves that kind of stuff. And but, you know, that's something that definitely separates us from the normal car dealer. Like a guy brings a bass boat in yesterday, and we give him a price on the boat, and he agrees to trade it towards a vehicle. So it all worked out good.
So when he leaves, he's a happy camper.
He's happy and we're happy, so it's one big family.
Well, we always talk about your oil change, your tires and batteries, and I guess this is a good time to do that.
Yeah, $39.95, 5-quart oil change, tires, meter beat anybody's price on tires. Same, got to be the same tire. Batteries. Is your car still starting all right?
It's doing just well.
I just want to make sure. Batteries.
Tires are running okay.
And you got some tires too. I appreciate that. Rolling smooth down the road.
Yes, smoother than others.
Free rotation every time you get an oil change. Can't beat that. Batteries, $149.95. We put them in on most vehicles for free. They got a 3-year free replacement battery and a 100-month warranty, so can't beat that.
Well, we keep reminding people of this. The tires, the batteries, the oil change each week, and service is a lot of what you do. Of course, Ronnie's mostly selling those used and new, pre-owned and new vehicles, but there's a lot more to Bates Ford than just those vehicles.
Right, and I mean, that's kind of the backbone of our dealerships, our service department. That's kind of why we're built this new facility over off Franklin Road, is our service department's going to be twice as big. And right now we stay very backed up. You know, I was took my dog. Actually, I went down the road to 109, and took my dogs to the vet yesterday, and I was talking to Angela about all the apartments that are getting put in and all the stuff. And I said, man, these people are coming from everywhere. So, we're growing, we're staying behind in our business. It's hard to stay caught up. So that's why Tony and myself, we wanted to build a bigger facility for our service department. It don't take a whole lot of room to sell a car, but it takes a lot more to service them. So our service department's going to be twice as big at our new facility over off 1780 Franklin Road. We're probably a month or two from getting in. I've got a construction meeting today. Hopefully, if we get some air conditioner units, we can, it's getting there. We're really close. So within the next month or two, we should be at our new location.
All right. 10 seconds to close it out, Ron.
Okay, one thing we like to sales and service. We in sales, but we push service also, because without service, we kind of out there with nothing.
Well, got a great team, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank y'all. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Paul Tubbs, General Manager, Ronnie Kelly in sales at Bates Ford, 1673 West Main in Lebanon. Again, they're the dealer to trade for anything but don't eat. We're 10 after the hour. I have invited city. Let's see. Camille Burdon is here. Camille is part of the Lebanon City Council. That's what I was searching for. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And representing Ward 3.
That's correct.
All right. Well, it's good to see you again. It's been a while since you've been out here on the program.
It has. I've missed y'all.
Well, if we did this, if it all worked out exactly right, I guess there are 6 of you, and there's 12 months in the year, and if somebody came every month, that'd be twice a year. It doesn't work exactly like that, because sometimes somebody can't make it. Sometimes there's something kind of pushing that we may say, well, we'll let y'all rest this time and come next month. But anyway, on average, a couple of times a year for you. So it's good to see you again.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
You got any big problems that you're trying to solve for the city of Lebanon right now?
Starting off pretty hard. How about positive things? No, really, we have slowed down at the city, thank goodness. I mean, as I've talked before, it was like drinking through a water hose the last few years. But things have slowed down. I like to say that we're having time to really focus on what's important, do a little house cleaning. And so really, I haven't had major, knock on wood, issues in my ward. We've had a lot of growth over the last few years of people, developments coming in. Bates Ford is one of them, down on Franklin Road. So what we're trying to do is really decide what is there, or after we've already passed everything or switched things up, and just taking a real good look at it and our overall plan to make sure that we're following our goals and our plans that the city had with the comprehensive plan.
Well, I believe the square is part of your ward.
It is.
And we could talk for a moment about the new parking lot that is kind of under construction, maybe being paved as we speak.
Yes, sir. That has been on everybody's agenda, I think, is to find some more parking, because we are really booming, I guess, on our square per se. Revitalization means change. And when you already have buildings and residents, they're already in an area that needs some change or an uplift, you could say. I think that there's a lot of times that we're running into problems when it comes to infrastructure, and can we support it, and change for people. And we haven't had the boom in many years down there on the square, and parking is one of them. Yeah.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking about the square, and of course, I've lived here in Wilson County all my life. Lebanon's been my home, and I've seen I remember when the square, Saturday was the day, and everybody and his brother came, and you could hardly find a parking place, but the whole shopping area was just about the square at that time.
Right.
About the 40s and 50s, a long time ago. And then the shopping centers became popular, and it wasn't as crowded on the square. And then at one time, it seemed like we had about half the businesses were antique shops or something. It's just been constant change, not all at once, but we go 5 or 10 years, and then there's a big change, and then it seems the change that's come lately, though, has brought so many more people to the square. Parking is at a premium.
Well, I think it's really part of the tourism. I hear from some of the merchants down there that, people from all over are stopping in to our square and visiting. And some of them, I believe, have maps that they can put where, like at the fair, where they're from. But they are blown away with the tourism that we're getting, not just our own people in our community. And our square has expanded. More and more people are coming in, and they want to be part of our downtown. So I know Historic Lebanon and their Main Street program that we have, we're working together to, make our downtown boundaries go further out than just the square. They've done a streetscape plan that does show more parking, which will be a guide for us to kind of go by when it comes to parking, when it comes to sidewalks, lighting, and make it a more enjoyable walk. If you go to Franklin or that other county up there west of us, we're just glad to find a parking place when you go up there to shop. And not as many complaints. We'll walk and walk to be able to see things and go to restaurants. But we don't have that mentality yet, but we're getting there. And we got to make it a prettier walk. So Kim and her committee are really working hard to better our square and to give us some goals and a plan for our downtown. And also the best thing is she's able to apply for grants that the city can work with so that we can get some of our streetscapes paid for.
All right, Camille Verdine's with us this morning. Time for us to take a break. This is Coleman Company FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. They have a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator. 0% financing. It's going on now until the end of the year. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still a bit crowded now, leaving Rutherford County on 24 westbound, trying to get up through the Hickory Hollow area. Heavy right on schedule as all that traffic arrives in Hermitage, coming in from Wilson County on 40 west here, Central Pike. Busy coming down from the north now through Millersville. That's what we're looking at live. It's heavy, but it's moving on 65 southbound. They're passing Highway 31. Nash Painting, they service all of Middle Tennessee, and they do a wonderful job. Check out their website today at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hello, this is Bernie Ash, former mayor. I want to thank WANT Radio and wish them a happy 30th birthday and keep on doing what you're doing.
Hi, this is Brenda Harper of Wilson Bank and Trust, and we would like to wish WANT 98.9 a happy 30th anniversary.
Hey, Jay White here with A.G. and Johnson. Happy anniversary.
Hello, this is Ed Kelly, the singing plumber, and I just want to wish WANT 98.9 FM a happy 30th birthday.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Join us on Saturday, September 9th for the 20th annual Sherry's Run 5K Run Walk to benefit Sherry's Hope. The event starts at 8 a.m. at 623 West Main Street in Lebanon. Come run or walk and give hope to people in our community who are battling cancer. Enjoy a silent auction, live music, and more. Register now at sherrysrun.org and make plans to join us on Saturday, September 9th for the Sherry's Run 5K Run Walk to benefit Sherry's Hope.
We continue here on this Thursday morning. If you just joined us, Camille Verdine is with us on the 11 City Council, representing Ward 3. And talk about your meeting the other night. You had Cumberland had proposed some zoning changes, and I believe there was part of that was somewhat controversial and ended in a 3-3 tie, and the mayor had to break the tie. He explained that yesterday morning. But I think you were in agreement. You're one that voted against making the zoning change in one particular area there. Can you talk about that a little bit and explain that?
Sure, Coleman. Well, first of all, I used to work for Cumberland University for almost 10 years, so I'm a fan for sure, and they have done a lot of amazing things for our community and record growth year after year, and being kind of where they are in our community. They have to expand out into some residential areas, and they're doing their best to revitalize as well to meet the needs of their students and our community. So I appreciate everything that they do, but sometimes we do have to make hard decisions. But as the mayor said yesterday morning, they came in with several rezonings to go to their university zoning, which makes sense for a lot of them. This one property, or it's two properties, but they own a large strip in between residential on both sides. In a historic area, around historic homes. And in fact, when I used to work there, I think a couple of them were donated to the university. It's not like the university has really sought out to buy this strip. It just has happened that way. And President Stum and I have talked a long time about what's best and what their plans are. But as he stated, they don't really have a plan for that middle section in between the residential. And I've got to, most of the time, I listen to the residents in our community, especially ones that, have been there a while. This area also has flooding issues, and they've really been under the gun, you could say, over the last year on Pennsylvania with several zoning issues. So I really felt, after talking with residents this past week, that it'd be best to just wait until they had a plan. Mm-hmm. And I know when they do have a plan, it's going to be something that they can come back to us as a council and work with the neighbors to find what's the best for that area. So that was the only one that I felt like we could wait on. So. Well,
were you surprised that the vote was 3-3, really?
A little bit. All the zoning changes start in planning.
Yeah.
And I will say there was no one stepped up in planning. Not on the planning council. I'm just saying we didn't have any of the neighbors or residents come out against it in planning. And it did pass planning 8-0. So for it. So in some ways I wasn't as surprised. It was just really in the last couple weeks that I started hearing from residents.
Okay. Well, but here again, bottom line is the zoning is not going to take place now. This doesn't mean it can't be later on.
Absolutely.
But once Cumberland decides exactly or has a plan for what they want to do with the property, then it can be reconsidered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, move on to something else. What I know you made some notes. You were doing that while we did the Bates Ford commercial. There must be some things you want to talk about.
Well, absolutely. This weekend, September 9th, in my ward, Ward 3, Sherry's Run is this weekend. Yeah. So I'm sure you've had people come and already speak on that, but it's a pleasure for Ward 3 to host that. And we expect crowds, also expect traffic will be different if you're getting out and about early morning and heading to the square. We also have the Downtown Merchants Fall Festival or Fall Open House this weekend on Saturday from 10:30 to 6 p.m. Saturday.
That's just on the square?
That is just on the square. I'm sure there may be other open houses, but our Downtown Merchants Association is sponsoring that. So there's probably specials and, fall decor everywhere.
Well, it's like we always say, it's not exactly true weather-wise, but Memorial Day to Labor Day is pretty much summertime, and Labor Day gets here, and then as that song we used to sing says, sweet summer's gone away.
It has. I wish the weather would would reflect that, but
well, it's a little bit cooler this morning.
it is. It is. I'm not a fan of the heat as I used to be, for sure. Bates Ford being here, I always get the pleasure of talking with them before we come on the show. And Bates Ford's in Ward 3 as well. And so we're really excited about their opening. And wow, they have about been on schedule too. So I can't wait for that to happen. We've got a lot of development going on in that Franklin Road area. We just voted for the first reading Tuesday is that the light, to get the bid for the light there at Franklin Road in South Hartman.
Okay.
And then the widening of the Hartman exit there. So we're working on bids. I've been told it'll probably be a year before that light comes in, and that is a public and private partnership with the businesses like Bates Ford that are going to come in and put that light up.
I'm trying to think just how this might be, but I do know sometimes if I have gotten off the interstate there and going west and want to turn left, it sometimes is a long wait.
Well, I'm not a traffic engineer, Coleman, so, but I agree. But there is going to be another light because we've got quite a few businesses and flats or apartments off of Franklin Road. A lot of people are going to be traveling that road, so we're going to have a light to help people on and off Franklin Road.
And that might be as much as a year before it's going.
I asked that question Tuesday night. It does take a long time to get some of these things.
Well, as I understand it, you don't just have you don't just go buy a light and install it. They have to be done especially for a particular place. I think that's the way it is.
That's
correct. So it takes some. You have to have all the measurements or the die. You got to have it fixed ahead of time what you want, and then it's made. That takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
That's correct. You talked to Chris Corral about it. He waited on one a long time. So I did ask what the goal was for getting it up, but I was told it'll be about a year. But I have gotten that question several times with the growth down there on South Hartman. Yeah. Are we going to have a light?
You get quite a number of calls from your constituents. I'm sure if you do, there are various things, but I was wondering, is there anything that really stands out, one or two issues that are so much more often than other things?
Lately it has been, parking on the square. We've got to do something with parking on the square. People wanting to see revitalization. Can't we do this? Or can't somebody put in, this business? Or can we change the park in between Burger King and the square? So I'm getting more about people's ideas and questions about revitalization and what's going to, what are we going to bring here? What could we bring here? And ideas about what to do, which I appreciate everybody's thoughts and, interest in our community. Fact is, I've said it a million times, the city does not own property. So we have to work with the property owners and the business owners to make sure we're getting what we want in our community. So that's been most of my calls and traffic. Yeah. But with every development or business, we do work through a traffic plan with them. And so I think we're being very proactive with our traffic. It just, we've had a lot of growth.
Yeah, and another thing Mayor has mentioned a time or two is what we're doing in regard to traffic and the way the lights are going to be working and the computerization or further computerization that's going to be done, which is probably going to be a big boon to traffic movement. That's from the way they tell it. It even can be changed almost at a moment in case there's an emergency or something. So that's a big improvement.
Absolutely, from a control room. I think that's awesome.
And the other thing I'll mention here, we got a minute and a half here. It seems like every time I hear a financial report or hear anything that we we have a good surplus that we seem to really be in good shape. And as long as the sales tax money keeps coming in like it is, and nearly every month we have an increase over the corresponding month a year ago, that all looks good.
It does. We've been very conservative as a council, especially since I've been in office and previous years. So I think we're still in a good place. I don't personally see a tax hike anytime soon, but I think we're doing just fine and being very diligent with our monies. And we've had a lot of help. We're asking for help now. We've raised impact fees. We're asking our developers to do more and our property owners. And I think that has helped us as well to be very cautious of what the city's willing to pay for and taking advantage of grants too. The state has been very generous with COVID monies, and the state's done well as a whole, so they have surpluses in lots of areas. So we've taken advantage for sure of the grants that are out there.
Yeah, and this sales tax, I guess you'd call it moratorium or whatever, not having to pay sales tax on groceries for a period of time, about a quarter, isn't it?
It is.
It's third quarter, so I guess we got through this month on most groceries. That's good too.
I guess it's made a huge difference because my bill sure is a lot different. But it has obviously helped for sure.
Well, listen, thanks for being with us. It's always good to have you, and we appreciate your being here and your comments this morning. Camille Burdine, Ward 3, City of Lebanon. And that is part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more at FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and get a battery installed on most vehicles, $149.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There's a couple of accidents still getting some attention out here right now. We're just seeing that heavy traffic volume coming through Hermitage, coming in from Wilson County, the Mount Juliet area, headed towards Hermitage there on 40 going westbound. It's crowded, 24 westbound up through Antioch, coming in from Rutherford County. It's also starting to slow at times, 840 westbound at Paytonsville, just before you get to that 65 split there in Williamson County. Prince's Hot Chicken is catering soon. There's going to be 4 locations. You can order online today at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Are you thinking about buying a new home? Let A.G. & Johnson assist you with your new home search. From the first-time home buyer to the empty nester, we are experienced in all facets of the home buying process. We will be with you every step of the way. No matter if you are buying, selling, downsizing, or upsizing, we can assist you with your real estate needs. Call us at 615-444-0909 or find us online at agandjohnson.com or Facebook A.G. & Johnson Realty. A.G. & Johnson is your community's trusted realty and auction company.
Sunshine expected through the day today, warming up to a high of around 84. Tonight, mostly clear skies down to around 59. Might deal with a little bit of patchy fog for your Friday morning, otherwise mostly sunny and a high of 82. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com, where they know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
Welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company. It is a Thursdays at this time. We have your A.G. & Johnson Realty Auction, and most Thursdays we have the 2 we have here today. Jay White. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And Helene Cash, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
All right, nice to have you both. You're just part of a great team. A number of people involved in the team at A.G. & Johnson, 728 West Main in Lebanon. The website, www.agandjohnson.com, as you would expect. That's an easy one to remember, and that phone number might be even easier.
615-444-0909.
Jay, get us started this morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Coleman, looks like we're going to be having a sale next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday out on Old Hunters Point Pike. We're going to be selling the Carolyn Laster, all of Miss Carolyn Laster's estate sale. It's a nice antique sale out there. Carolyn was an avid antique collector. She sold a few antiques along through the years, but she collected more than she sold through the years, and just one of the best collections in Wilson County that I know of. And it's going to be offered, all of it is going to be offered next Saturday morning. We're going to start at 9 o'clock. We're going to start a little early because we're going to be there all day long. There's lots of things to sell. There's beautiful glassware, furniture that's just really, really nice quality antiques out there to sell. So if you know anybody that's collecting antiques, or if you're looking for a rare piece of glass, or something to put a beautiful piece of furniture to put in your home, come out and be with us out on Hunters Point Pike next week. It's just going to be a great day with some beautiful pieces of furniture.
Does a sale like this usually attract a certain type of clientele, type of people, certain collectors, maybe in mass? You're expecting a lot of people who love this sort of thing.
We do, but I mean, there's a lot of folks out there. Even if if you're not a glassware, if you're not into glassware, we have silver. So we'll have a lot of folks there that, if you like silver sets and tea sets and those sort of things, or if you're into the glass, if you're into, a cranberry glass, which is a kind of a red glass or a blue glass or flow blue. There's just so many different types of merchandise here. It's just not all, just a lot of diversity out there.
I take it there's a real market for that. A lot of people really like that. They're great collectors' items.
They are. It's good investments. I mean, people buy this. They get to enjoy it and look at it and use it on a daily basis if they wish to. But it's an investment. I mean, these type of pieces aren't made anymore. The artists that did these are no longer with us. I mean, that talent is gone. I mean, nobody's here to carry it on. So, you can't go to Walmart and buy this kind of merchandise. I mean, and you'll never be able to buy it again on the market off the shelf. So I mean, it's just a great opportunity. She put together a great collection. She really knew what she was doing. She didn't keep the things in her personal house that weren't rare and unusual, and that's what we're going to be. You just have the privilege of selling out there next Saturday.
And that's the 16th, I believe.
It's the 16th.
Okay.
So come out and be with us at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm going to say it was a lot of fun going through and photographing everything and looking at the oil lamps and the electrified oil lamps, and then the china and the tea sets and the the chocolate sets, and it was amazing. And then to look at the art. There's something for everyone out there, and I had a great time, and I was just like, wow, I have no more room.
I can tell you like that.
Well, yeah, this is a collection that I would enjoy because it's all the uniqueness that I like to collect. Yeah.
So there ought to be a lot of people and probably a lot of bids on this. I'm guessing, Jay.
There sure is, and there's a cherry 4-poster bed out there with just a beautiful piece. And do you remember we don't have the authenticity on it, but we've been told by several people here in the community that is one lady individual that owned it before it got into Miss Carolyn's hands. But who was it?
Came from the estate of Margaret Mitchell. Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
So it came from her estate.
Wow.
Yes, and then there another piece out there is a 20 glass panel corner cabinet. I mean, there's amazing furniture pieces out there, but the 4-poster bed came from Margaret Mitchell's estate. So it has ties to Gone with the Wind. So for all the Gone with the Wind fans out there, there's amazing furniture pieces out there. Again, I have no more room.
And this nice corner cupboard that you put in the corner of a dining area or something. It is a Wilson County piece. It was built here in Wilson County. We've been told that by several historians around here that I think it came out of the east end of the county.
Yes.
But it's where from an estate
Tell you what,
out
if you
there.
talk about each one of those pieces like you are here, it'll take you all day and half the
It
night.
would, but if you're in the primitive antiques or early Southern antiques. There's some really, really nice pieces out there.
Okay. You want to talk about your staff for a minute, Helene? You got people that going to help you, whatever your real estate needs are.
Well, between the team that will be at the auction, we are blessed to have an amazing team between the auctions and the real estate. Excuse me. We wanted to spend a little extra time on Miss Lassiter's estate here because her collection is amazing, her personal private collection. But if you have any real estate needs, you can give us a call. I'll be in the office all day today, so I'll be answering the phone. So if you have any questions, just give us a call at 615-444-0909. Sorry, I sprung that on you, Coleman. But honestly, if you have any questions or any real estate needs, as I like to say, if you want to upsize or downsize, or if you want to add to your real estate portfolio, we have an agent for you. We have several dozen real estate agents with us that have a tenure that know Wilson County inside and out, Smith, Trousdale, or any of the surrounding counties, whether it's residential real estate, commercial real estate. If you are looking for investment properties, we have an agent for you that have the depth of knowledge for your personal scenario, for your personal situation, because everyone's situation is unique.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we got to move on here. Thank you all for being with us. We'll do it next week. Jay White, Helene Cash, A.J. Johnson Realty and Auction. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. We are 20 minutes before the hour, and Tim Leeper joins us this morning to talk about Tim Leeper Roofing and I'm sure other things. Tim, good morning.
Morning. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you again. And I'm sure you're staying busy.
Yes. It doesn't slow down. Really, we'll typically slow down around December.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we slow down and we'll pick back up. We can pick back up anywhere from mid-January to mid-February, and then it just starts all over again. So, it kind of ebbs and flows. When the kids go back to school, it'll slow down for a minute, as people settle in those routines, but then it's right back off to the races.
Well, Mayor Bell was talking about you, I think yesterday, and I know we've talked about the old fire station at Hartman Drive and a bypass that's going to be a veterans center, and I think you're about to do the roofing for it.
We are, and I was trying to place which building you're talking about, but after I thought about it, I said, yeah, that's the one. Uncle Pete was talking to us about that, and we were just, we'd gone out there and cored it and looked at the condition of it a couple of years ago, and so we had all the measurements, and, we worked to try to figure out a good roof to get on there that made sense for the future, but that's a nice place out there, and what a good location for them.
Yeah. What I know that this shooting, what is it? Skeet shoot?
Sporting place. Yes.
Well, I know not, my ignorance is showing. I know nothing about it, but that is a fundraiser that's coming up. You've been here with Sue Ann Bone a couple of times and talked about that. You gave most of your time last month, I think, to that, but that's about here, isn't it?
It's about here. It's here Saturday, as a matter of fact. It's the Boots and Shoot Sport and Clay event that Greg Piercy just finished setting the course yesterday. And so he's set everything up, and it's been bush hogged and mowed with signs have been made. We'll be out there working this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon to put things together. We'll have full 24 teams, and we'll have 5-man or 5-person shooting teams. We have some ladies shooting too. Love to see some more ladies out there shooting, because you see them at Nashville Gun Club when you go out there shooting. They're out there and they're shooting the sporting clays stations, and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're better than me, I'll tell you that.
Well, just listening to y'all talk about this last month and the other times we talked about it, a lot of planning has gone into this, and I think you're really doing it right. It's and it's going to be a really fine fundraiser for what it's all about.
Well, I really hope this sets the tone. You know, it benefits our sister keeper, which Sue Ann is executive director for, and you know, they go into the jail and they teach these incarcerated women how to live, you know, out of incarceration and kind of help them walk through that process of getting back into freedom. And sometimes that includes, you know, working with your children to develop those relationships again and or affirm those relationships. And sometimes they're dealing with addiction issues or get them into housing or, finding them jobs, whatever they can do to help them to stand on their own 2 feet so they're doing it themselves. And there's a satisfaction about self-sustaining.
Yeah. But to have an event like this to raise funds to further the cause and to get people like Steve Piercy, who's very knowledgeable about all of this, you probably couldn't have found a better person for what y'all are going to be doing.
You know, when I first heard Greg's name, everybody that I talked to, and I talked to people far and wide that were shooters, and they said, "Who is setting your course?" And we said, "Greg Piercy." And they said, "Are you kidding me?" They said, "That guy shoots. He sets these courses for the U.S. Open out in Arizona and different places around the country. I mean, he travels around the country doing this, and evidently he is. A guy's kind of a legend. He'll never tell you that, but when you talk to other people, they say, "Yeah, he's pretty solid at what he does."
All right, we'll probably get around to some more roofing talk after we take a break, but it is time for a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Bates Ford and that regular oil change $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There's a couple of accidents still getting some attention out here right now. We're just seeing that heavy traffic volume coming through Hermitage, coming in from Wilson County. The Mount Juliet area headed towards Hermitage there on 40 going westbound. It's crowded, 24 westbound up through Antioch, coming in from Rutherford County. It's also starting to slow at times, 840 westbound at Paytonsville, just before you get to that 65 split there in Williamson County. Prince's Hot Chicken is catering. Soon there's going to be 4 locations. You can order online today at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Judge Brody Kane, and I want to wish Susie, MJ, Coleman, and the whole team a happy 30th anniversary, and thanks for being such a bedrock for our community for the last 30 years.
Jeff Gannon, your local State Farm agent, wishing WANT 98.9 FM a happy 30 years in Lebanon.
Hi, I'm Karen Radzensky with Wilson County Help Center, and I'm just here to wish WANT a wonderful 30th anniversary.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford, and we got some great deals for you. Ford is offering free pickup and delivery. That's right, free pickup and delivery. If you need your vehicle serviced, give us a call at Bates Ford. We'll come pick it up, service it, and deliver it back to you free of charge. We got $39.95 oil changes, meter beat anybody's price on tires, cheapest battery in town. On the sales side, we've got 0% interest is back. We've got a great new and used inventory on www.tonybatesford.com. That's Bates Ford, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
Discover the power of an independent insurance agent at THW Insurance Services. Because THW is 100% independent, you can rest assured that they are on your side, which means they'll do whatever it takes to find you the right coverage at the right price from the industry's leading insurers. Don't just get insurance, get a friend at THW Insurance Services, 321 West Main in Lebanon, or call 443-3849. That's 443-3849.
We continue here on a Thursday morning. My guest is Tim Leeper. He represents Tim Leeper Roofing and Mama's Metal Roofing. You still got both businesses, right?
Oh yeah, still working away.
We talk about shingle roofing. We talk about metal roofing, and you do both, but it's kind of like two different animals or whatever.
That's it. It's almost like being a plumber and an interior designer. It's just so different from each other. The only thing that they have in common is the waterproofing. And we also, like the Veterans Building down here, we do commercial roofing as well.
Yeah. Well, you've expressed your preferences for a lot of different things in the times that you have been with us here, but pretty much I'm sure you're a businessman and the customer's always a boss, at least up to a point.
That's true. I'll put whatever the customer wants on. I told you the story one time. My uncle was working with me, and while we were working for a carpenter crew right out of high school, and I asked a question because the boss had told me something to do, and I said, "Are you sure that's what you want me to do?" And he took me to the side. He says, "Tim," he said, "when the boss tells you what to do," he said, "you don't ask questions." He said, "You just do it." He said, "If the boss tells me to throw a hammer through the window, the only question I ought to have is which window." And I learned a lot from that, and I never forgot that. So, whatever the customer wants is what they get. If they want a pink roof, I'll see if I can find it for them.
Well, you've how many years you've been in this? How many years have you actually owned your own business?
Started my business in 2004. And so it's coming up on 20 years.
Yeah, right.
And I've been doing it since right out of high school. I guess it'd be 29 years this year.
Well, you've learned a lot about roofing in that time, and it's something like anything else. You don't know it all when you start, and you learn a lot. Experience means a lot.
That's right. You learn what not to do pretty quick. Things that cost you money you don't do again. But really it takes time. They say around 7 years is the average time it takes to get proficient at a trade. And you never stop learning. There's new technology that comes out. There's innovative new products that come out, with regard to ventilation on your roof, to underlayments, to waterproofing, to different type shingles. And they just improve it from time to time, and they'll have trade shows showing off what it is. So you never stop learning. If you ever stop learning, you may as well quit.
Well, how busy are you? If somebody needs a job done and they call you today, it probably depends on whether it's shingles or metal, but how quick can you get somebody?
On the shingle roof, I want to say we're probably in that, 2 to 4 week range. If I had to guess, I haven't talked to the production team over there in a couple weeks, but on metal, we're probably about 2 weeks out or so. And that's repairs and replacement. We do a lot more than just, metal roofs. If you ever find a company that doesn't do repairs, and they only do replacements, just kind of be careful with that, because, when you go in and ask them to come take a look at your roof, you're not going to get, you're going to get what they do is they replace roofs. So if you can have a roof that's repaired, just consider that, when you have a company, you want to make sure that they do repairs and replacements, because they want to have your best interest at heart.
Right. Well, and I know nothing about this, but obviously, especially if you're not wanting to spend any more money than you have to, if you can do a repair job instead of a new roof, obviously you're going to save some money in most situations, I would think.
You'd be surprised how many times I can go to a house and people think that they need to replace their roof, and I'll get up there and I'll take a look around, and I ask them, I said, "Do you want to replace it right now, or do you have to replace it right now?" And sometimes the answer is different. If they say, "Well, I'd rather not replace it, but I feel like that we've had a couple leaks here and there," and we can go in and change out the boots and, touch up the flashing and just do a few things, and then buy them anywhere from 3 to 5 years or more in some cases, just by doing those leak-prone areas. And you'd be surprised how little it costs to kick that can down the road 3 or 5 years.
Yeah, but when you do that, that means you're not making as much money, I would think. You're going to have to do a whole lot more repair jobs than to make as much as you would on one roofing job.
Well, that's kind of how you build your pipeline. You take care of people just like that. If my aunt lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and she needed a roof or a roof repair, I would want her to find somebody that did the same thing, and if they put her interest ahead of their own, it's a business. It's a business. You just can't use your customers like an ATM machine. You can't just go, cash out whenever you want money. You've got to figure out what's best for them and then let them choose what makes sense, be it a repair or replace. And if you do that, you'll fill that pipeline, and the next time they have a chance to do a roof, or if a hailstorm comes in the next year, you're going to be the first call they get. And that job is yours to lose at that point.
So this is kind of, I take it this has kind of been the way you've handled your business, your practice has been from the start.
Oh yeah. It's honestly, it really goes back to, biblical principles. You treat people how you want to be treated. And if you do that, you'll have people who respect you as a profession and a professional, and they'll come back to you and they'll refer people to you. And that's how we built our business.
We are all dealing with inflation. The cost of nearly everything seems to be going up. I know grocers are higher, even though we may not be paying sales tax right now on some of them. The grocers seem to, and the price of food in restaurants, nearly everything, gasoline. What about roofing? You've got to deal with that too, I would think. Inflation affecting you and your bids and how you do business?
Yeah, and sometimes it hits harder than others. I can tell you when I first started roofing, it was about $40 for a square shingles, dimensional shingles. Now, some of those shingles, the regular dimensional shingles, will cost you close to $120 a square. And that's just for the shingles. That doesn't include the nails and other accessories, nor does it include the labor or the margin that you have to put on top of that. And so I saw that now. I will tell you this. Although we've seen a lot of the margin go up in the asphalt industry, we've seen less of a bump of that in the metal industry. And that's why you're seeing more and more people at least consider metal roofs. Not everybody loves metal, and I understand that. It's not a look that works for everybody's house or the style. But if it does work for your house, and that price of the shingles that's gone up so high in the metal is really, I'm not saying it's been unaffected, but it's been affected at a way lesser degree. Mm-hmm. And so because those costs are so close together, people who would enjoy metal roof are considering it at this point more and more than they would have been 5 years ago.
Yeah. You hiring right now? Is it answer if you're a good roofer, I can probably use you?
Well, we're kind of a funny animal in that we don't always hire if we have good people. We do a pretty good job of retaining the people that we have. I've got one crew that I've had for almost 20 years right now, and he's been with me, from start. I started out with his brother, and his brother wasn't any count, but I kept him, and so I've had him for almost 20 years. But if you keep your people, you really don't have to hire a lot, and so we just try to keep our people and pay them right. And keep them loyal, and it keeps our hiring low, I guess is what you could say. Once you get where you want to be, and you don't want to just grow all the time. If we're growing all the time, we've always got to find new business and new ways to support it. We've learned to be content with the level that we are, and just live in that area and just get better at what we do, we hope.
You ever thought about being a teacher?
No.
You do a pretty good job here with your philosophy. I think it's got to ring a bell with a lot of people. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying. I agree 100% with what you said about all of that. The growth, the treating people right, the whole 9 yards.
Well, I hope so, and I hope that resonates with people. When we do business with them, that's what we want them to take away from it. Is we feel like we got a good roof for a fair price. We feel like that we're treated fairly, and so that I feel comfortable, giving your name to my people at my church or the people that I work with or my family members, and that means a lot. That's the highest level of trust that you can get, is to get a referral from somebody that spent $5,000, $10,000 or $20,000 to replace a roof with you.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, you being a successful roofing, having a good business there, you've been able to give back to the community. You've been very active with your Rotary Club. I think you are past president now. Enjoy being past president.
Past president is the best role you can have in Rotary.
What besides the this event that's taking place, when that's over, you got anything else you're really pushing?
Honestly, when that's over, we're going to just kind of collectively breathe a sigh of relief, because you don't realize the amount of work that you're putting into something. And she and I are Sue Ann and I are kind of the same person in that when we do something, we don't do it halfway. And we want to do it well, and we want people to have a good, fun time at the experience. We want them to be safe. Those things are important, especially when you're doing the first event. And so the first one's always the hardest.
And this one sounds like it's going to be a super success. So I'm guessing it'll probably be a second, maybe a third and fourth.
We're hoping this can be an annual event, and that's really up to her board. That's I'm not even on the board. I'm just helping because I believe in what she does. I think that she does amazing work, and I think that there's so few people that are doing things like this. It's easy to serve on a really nice board where you're doing fancy things and having fancy dinners, but when you're taking care of, the Bible says the least of these, those are ones that not as many people get excited about, but I get excited about it because I know that you're doing things for these girls who will appreciate it immensely if you change generationally how they interact with their children and their other family members, and that's a big deal in the light of eternity, if you will.
Well, Tim, we've come to the end of our time here. Again, Tim Leeper is president, Tim Leeper Roofing and Mama's Metal Roofing. You can reach him at tim@timleeperroofing.com and cell phone 615-372-4713. And I guess that's about it. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
That's it for a Thursday, and I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Friday edition. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.